Hi everyone, Lindsey here. It is Thursday, April 2nd, and I hope that this video finds you all well. Wanted to begin by thanking those of you who took the time to fill out the survey questions that I put in this week's newsletter. Off of the feedback that I received, we are going to start holding our weekly virtual youth groups on Tuesdays at 7. All right, so I hope to see many of you dropping in over the course of the next couple of weeks. But if there are other ways that you would like to engage and support one another while we are social distancing, don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. I am all ears and open to suggestions. So as a follow-up to my newsletter, I wanted to chat with all of you for a couple of minutes about Pope Francis's Urbi et Orbi. I shared the link in the message, but I don't know how many of you actually had the opportunity to watch the broadcast. It was a phenomenal service, and I got a lot of fruit out of it. And so I wanted to kind of share some of my takeaways from it. So one of the things that Pope Francis began with was a reading of the gospel according to Mark on Jesus calming the storm. And I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with this story, so I figured I would take a moment and just read it quickly so that way we can kind of unpack it together. So it begins. On that day, as evening drew on, he said to them, "Let us cross to the other side." Leaving the crowd, they took him with them in the boat just as he was, and other boats were with him. A violent squall came up, and waves were breaking over the boat so that it was already filling up. Jesus was in the stern, asleep on a cushion. They woke him and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" He woke up, rebuked the wind, and said to the sea, "Quiet, be still." The wind ceased, and there was great calm. Then he asked them, "Why are you terrified? Do you not yet have faith?" They were filled with great awe and said to one another, "Who then is this whom even wind and sea obey?" So pretty powerful gospel story, right? And also very fitting for the time that we are currently in with this pandemic. And so Pope Francis begins his address by acknowledging that this particular reading begins as evening has come, as darkness, a thick darkness, falls over the land, and he brings into connection that that's how many of us are probably feeling right now. Our ordinary lives as we know it have come to a complete halt. We are in uncharted territory, all trying to be flexible and adaptable and make changes, but it can feel lonely and it can feel dark. And when there is things out of our control and there is no end in sight, we're all just kind of making it up as we go. That can be a very dark time for many people. And he says, we too are like the disciples in this story. We are fragile and disoriented in this new reality. But like the disciples, we must do this. We must journey through this storm, through this difficult pandemic together. And one of the points that I thought was really interesting in the Pope's address is he talked about what a special time we're currently in, that this is a time of both trial, difficulties, we're all being tested, but it's also a time of choosing, which is to me very empowering. So what is it that we get to choose in this time when so much of our choices are being taken from us? Well, we get to, as Christians, take a step back and ask, what is necessary right now? This is a great opportunity for us each to ask ourselves, how do we get back on track with God and with others? So You're probably busy in new ways, but maybe you're also having more idle time. Maybe you have more downtime. Um, no extracurricular activities. Probably not spending as much time at school, right? Doing schoolwork. So can you take that time and bring it to prayer? Can you bring it to God and say, what is God asking of me right now? How can I be of service to those around me, to my family, to my friends, to my teachers, to the people that are important to me in my life? How can I be a source of both patience and hope, right? So patience and hope is really at the heart of what we all need right now. And that's not something that we have to do alone. That is a shared responsibility. It's going to ebb and flow, just like the water, right? We are going to go through times where we might be okay. We might even be enjoying aspects of this, and other times where we are feeling down, maybe sad and we don't know why, maybe anxious. And it's a great opportunity for us to be a source of hope and patience and support for those who might be going through difficult times, but also to call upon those in our life to support when we too are struggling. So, Pope Francis said something that I thought was really beautiful. He encouraged all of us to find ways to practice patience and hope in small, everyday gestures. Small, everyday gestures. So I would challenge you between now and Tuesday to think about what is it that you could do that's above and beyond what you've already been doing to help show patience and hope for others. So is it that you want to sit down and write a card to a family member or a friend, letting them know that you're thinking of them and drop it in the mail? Is it that you want to try to practice patience with your siblings, right? There's a lot of togetherness going on right now, and people's nerves might be on edge. So is there a way for you the next time one of your siblings does something that frustrates you to, instead of snap, to take a deep breath and say, he or she's probably going through a hard time too. How can I support them in this? How can I redirect that anger into something where we might be able to bond? Or is there something else that I haven't even thought of, right? So I would challenge you over the course of the next few days to spend a little bit of time in prayer, really ask what God is asking of you right now, and then challenge yourself to put things into action and to show more patience and hope in small everyday gestures for those around you. Now, if you do have the time, I highly encourage you to sit down and watch the entire recording of the Pope's Urbi et Orbi. I will include it below. And the reason why I say that is that at the end of the address, the Pope actually gives all those who watch or attended the service a plenary indulgence. So if you watch the recording and you do one of a myriad of different things, from praying in front of the Blessed Sacrament, which you can still do on Mondays at the church. If you do a recitation of the rosary or the Way of the Cross, I'm also including a recording of praying the rosary that Father Andrew and Deacon Jim did yesterday. Or if you pray the Chaplet of Divine Mercy, you are eligible for a plenary indulgence, which is really great. It's a really wonderful gift and something that makes us really special as Catholics. So I would encourage all of you to take advantage of that and offer up some prayers specifically for those impacted by the coronavirus, and pray that there is an end to this pandemic. So I will send out another newsletter on Monday and let you all know some of the activities that we're going to be doing over Zoom. But in the meantime, if you have any questions or you just want to connect, don't hesitate to reach out. And know, as always, that I am keeping you all in my prayers. Thanks so much, and we'll talk soon. Bye.